A few days ago, I made a video showcasing some interesting data about blueprints, but unfortunately, I displayed the data in a way that was a little bit misleading, at least at the start of the video. Now, it's on me, I should have been a little bit more careful how I explained this information. The unfortunate part of this is a lot of people saw the start of this video and assumed the entire video was just filled with rubbish. It's on me for making the mistake at the beginning, but later on in the video, there were some very important details about blueprints. And since that video, I've had a lot of discussions with people in my chat, members of the community, and gathered even more information to confirm some very important facts about blueprints. We can, without a shadow of a doubt, confirm some things now that you may have missed in the first video because you clicked off after I said some silly stuff without thinking carefully about what I'm saying. So in this video, I'm going to be very careful about the words I choose to make it very clear what we know about blueprints and what I think might be happening with blueprints. If there's a fact logo on screen, then I'm talking about the data that seems to really back up what's happening with certain blueprint drops. If there's a theory logo on screen, then that's my own theory in play and should not be taken as fact. This is really important because I have a lot of information, a lot of experience looting containers, and a lot of data to share. So let's get to the facts first. If you didn't watch to the end of the last video, then you would have missed out on this stuff, and we now have even more evidence to back it up thanks to a lot of community input. Firstly, the volcano only spawns in the Hidden Bunker event. If you want the volcano blueprint, you have to loot in the Hidden Bunker event. It doesn't have to be in the Hidden Bunker, just somewhere in the Hidden Bunker. Basically, pretty much any container could spawn it. The sad news is the drop rate seems to be astronomically low. I've spent about 10 to 12 hours looting the Hidden Bunker, doing nothing but looting containers and haven't found it yet. So if you want to go and hunt for it, just consider that you'll need to be extremely lucky. Now, I've heard a lot of reports of people finding the volcano blueprint outside of the Hidden Bunker event. So my message to you here is, if you have any visual proof whatsoever of finding the volcano blueprint outside of the Hidden Bunker, please provide it to me. I've been asking for this for a few days across social media and haven't seen a single clip so far, and this goes to back up the data that we've gathered so far. So unless somebody can prove us otherwise, the volcano only drops in the Hidden Bunker event, the blueprint that is. It was available in security breach lockers before in the past, but they have since been nerfed and is no longer available. Next, let's move on to the Tempest. The Tempest has a ridiculously higher chance to spawn in night raids. I've only ever seen visual proof of it spawning in night raids. However, there do seem to be a lot of reports and accounted stories of it spawning in storm and day raids. However, for me personally, I have not seen any visual proof of it spawning in anything besides night raids. So if you'd like to find the Tempest, your best bet is to search in night raids. The drop rate there for it seems to be far higher, and if you do a search on any social media site, you'll be swamped with posts saying that they found it in night raids, and our own data from our data collection really seems to back that up as well. Next, move on to the Bobcat. Some people swear that they found the Bobcat blueprint. Yes, they have. They did find it. It was in the Locked Gate event, which was only available for a short time. Good news is the devs are kind of figuring out what's going on with that, and hopefully it'll be added again soon. Nobody else has found a Bobcat since. Some people have told me that they have, but haven't provided any visual footage of them doing so. So for now, it seems to be only in the Locked Gate. The Snaphook blueprint has an astronomically higher chance of spawning in the Storm event. It can spawn in other events, but it spawned like crazy in Storm. So those are some important facts about rare blueprints and how they spawn. We've now got the data and the community-backed evidence to really suggest that the rarer blueprints spawn specifically in certain 2 times points events. Hidden Bunker, Night Raid, Locked Gate, Storm, you get the picture. Now I also want to go on to the next point. It seems likely that each map or area of a map may have different blueprint loot pools. This is now a theory here. We don't have enough data to back this up. However, the evidence that I would like to provide here is the fact that a lot of people have had a lot of experience finding augments in the Blue Gate map. Doesn't matter what time of day, doesn't matter if it's a storm, people are finding a lot of augments here. Now, we can also confirm that people have found blueprints outside of the Blue Gate map, so they don't exclusively spawn in Blue Gate, but it does seem to suggest that some maps may have different loot pools for the blueprints. Once again, we don't have enough evidence here to back this up, but the ongoing theory at the moment is if you can understand which area has a certain blueprint loophole or which map, that might help you as a player figure out what you need to change in your behavior to find the blueprints that you haven't unlocked yet. Now I want to draw my conclusion back to the original data that sort of got a lot of people frustrated with my video. And I read through a lot of comments. I understand the points they were making. And in fact, during the entirety of my video, I do try to explain the biases in this data as much as humanly possible. But I think that I did a bad job of explaining things and the words came out the wrong way and it just misled people. So this is the data we got. Out of over 3,000 submissions, the majority of blueprints were found on night and day raids, with a very small portion being found on storm raids. Now, this data doesn't tell us what raids have better blueprints. It's basically telling us which raids people have found blueprints in this data, right? Very heavily biased information. So we cannot get any information from this at all whatsoever. And I shouldn't have included this in the original video because it doesn't provide anybody any information. What the information that this data does provide us with is it guarantees that certain maps or map pools or map events have different blueprint drop pools. The important thing that we can all take away from this is if you're looking for a specific blueprint and you're not finding it, one of the best possible things you can do is just change what map or map condition you're looting on. If you're usually a night raid looter and you really want a specific blueprint and you're not finding it, maybe try a day raid. Day raids clearly do drop blueprints as well, perhaps not as much as night raids. We don't have the evidence or data to even prove that. Perhaps I could run a test later on if anyone would be interested. I could perhaps loot 1,000 containers on day, storm, and night raid to find out the results. If you would like me to do that, please let me know. But what I'd really like to get from this data is, and explain to you all so that you're all prepared to go and find blueprints and have less frustration with finding blueprints. If you cannot find a specific blueprint, try and change your behavior in the game. But it's very clear that because of the data that we've gathered now, that the blueprint loopholes are very nuanced depending on what map or event you're playing. So that's what I should have done with my first video. I should have just explained this from the start and avoided opening the video with the biased data because people are just going to come into that and believe that that's fact. And I tried very carefully to explain the biases, but I think that as a YouTuber, I should know people just take things head on, face value, and I should have been more careful with how I explained it. So hopefully now you've watched this video and you understand how the blueprint loopholes work, right? Every map condition has a different blueprint loophole. Some blueprints only spawn in certain specific conditions. Some blueprints have a higher chance on certain maps. So if you're constantly finding the same blueprints, try a different map condition and you'll probably have better luck. Thanks for watching. See you in the comments. Cheerio.